Welcome back to Making Waves with Pastor Mia. Tonight's show is The Secret About Ancient Oils. Tonight's guest is Elder Aquata Jenkins. So let's jump right in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, Elder Jenkins, the minister.
If I had to tell you about me, my name is Aquata Jenkins, and I've been in ministry all my life, I should say. Raised from a little girl in church, so I don't know really anything else. And kind of just took my time to find God for myself. So with that in mind, I began in ministry, and from that kind of junior usher, the missionary, the deaconess in training, I went up the whole line trying to find what was God speaking to Quata about, and where did I find my calling in ministry. And when I came into my eldership, it was learning to preach by accident. I really didn't know that I could. I just thought that, oh, I need to say something every now and again, and I can teach you because I have a great way of making the complex simple. So that's all I thought it was, until the Lord began to just define who I was in ministry. As a woman in ministry, because it's different to be a woman in ministry right now.
It certainly is.
But of all the things I hear, see, and know, I love ministry. I'm about effective ministry, empowering the people of God to know all about what the Lord is calling them to do in this season.
All right. Tell me about Aquata Jenkins, the nurse.
I went to college straight out of high school. I always knew I would go to college. I went to college initially to be a pharmacist because that's just what I was going to do. And I loved science, and it was so amazing. And I got in there and I didn't like science, so I thought of chemistry rather. I always knew I wanted to help people because that's what I've always done.
Okay.
And so I took a class in nursing just to kind of figure my way. And after my first class, it was a passion. It was my love. I couldn't wait to do anything else. So I jumped right in to my nursing degree, and I went straight head first all the way in.
Oh, wow.
Nursing for me was like boot camp, for lack of a better word. Never been in the military, so I really don't know what boot camp is, but nursing was a reconditioning of my mind.
Okay.
It was a change in my thought process. And I was mentored and groomed in by military nurses.
Oh, wow.
African American military nurses. So that was a different kind of outlook because they were older and they had been nurses for years.
Okay.
And they did not play at all. They wore their starch white dresses with their hats. And you had to have your name tag on. Definitely had to be crisp, pristine white shoes.
Oh, wow.
It was all about the nurse, the perception of the nurse, how effective you were in nursing, and it was the art and the science of nursing, and that which changed my life because the science was the easy part. That's the part you can memorize, but the art of nursing is what you have to learn to put your hand upon, because nursing, you won't always have everything you need, but you still have all the tools that you need. So creatively, what else can I do to get my patient to the end? That was a nurse for me. I just knew that I would always do it. I always knew it.
Oh, wow.
And then once I graduated, I was like, yes, I did it. The accomplishment.
Now, wait a minute. Tell me where you went to school at.
I went to Coppin State University, Helene Food School of Nursing. And I graduated in 2004. And at that time, Coppin was a college, and it became Coppin State University the year we graduated in 2004. Awesome. And that the Helene Food School of Nursing at that time was like one of the top rated nursing programs in the state of Maryland, graduating the most minority students.
Oh, wow.
In the state.
That's
amazing.
Wonderful.
Love them.
Okay. What is Healing Touch, and how did you start practicing that?
Healing Touch. I started practicing maybe, I'm going to say a year ago, but I learned about it more than 8 years ago. I came back to the School of Nursing at Coppin because I wanted to give back. I wanted to give back to the program that gave into me.
All right.
I wanted nurses to know, yes, get an AA, but however, get a BSN.
All right.
Get one. As a matter of fact, get a master's.
Mhm.
Get a PhD if you really want to. But let's start with a professional nurse. Your professional nursing degree starts at your BSN. So I wanted to give back. I am an asthmatic, and I was teaching and doing work and had an asthma tech, and I didn't want to leave because nurses don't ever get sick. We just don't get sick. We just
Okay.
keep working.
Y'all soldier that thing out. All
And
right.
so you just keep working, and then once you get off, you'll take care of it
Okay.
eventually. But I didn't want to leave, and so one of the nurses there was like, well, can I help you? Do you mind if I touch? Looking at it kind of weird, like, okay, yes, touch. But I'm not leaving. I won't talk. We can do whatever we need to do until it's over, and I'm going to be here.
Okay.
And she did something, and I don't know what something was at that time. She began to look at me. She began to wave around me. She really didn't touch me. And I began to feel better. I could breathe. I could talk in a sentence. I wasn't
Wow.
coughing, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, what? The word just happened. I could not explain it. All I knew was I felt better enough that I could go to the doctors if I need to. I could get home. I could take the medicine that I didn't have with me.
All right.
But she did something to me, and I'm in awe. I couldn't wait to run to tell somebody. I just envisioned it like me having an experience with Jesus, and I can't wait to tell somebody, like, look at somebody who just did something to me, and I
Woman at the
don't
well,
know
all
what
right.
that is, but I just had an experience.
Okay.
And so from that moment, I kind of did my own research. I didn't even ask her what it was that she had done, because I was like, oh, I'm not really sure I really want to know. But you did something,
Okay.
and it was amazing.
Okay.
And so I waited a little while, and I went back to the nurse, and I said, okay, what did you do? Like, come on, tell me, what did you do to me? And she began to tell me about healing touch. I said, well, can you teach me that? I need to learn whatever that is. And so she gave me a video. She sent me to the website, and she told me just to kind of look
Okay.
and to research. And from that moment forward, I felt like a sponge trying to soak up every bit of information, every bit of research, every bit of practice that I could find out about healing touch.
Okay.
Now, that was my personal experience
Okay.
of how I got started practicing, or how I got interested. But how I started practicing was I took the Healing Touch program.
Okay.
And Healing Touch is a program where you can go all the way through the levels, even until certification.
Okay.
And Healing Touch is considered an alternative medicine. It's an energy medicine.
Okay.
And it deals with hands-on or off the body, light touch, and it's non-invasive. When I figured that out, I just knew that if you told somebody that was saved, somebody in church, that you wanted to play in that energy field,
They was gonna look at you like you
that
crazy.
you was going to be looked at like you was crazy, you speaking some kind of voodoo, what kind
Yes.
of voodoo are you talking,
Yes.
are you serious, you have got to be kidding.
Yes.
You got to be a witch, and a witch must die.
Yes.
So I was very skeptical to even tell somebody else about it before I was sure.
All right.
So, of course, what do we do as researchers? We practice on our family. That's what we did. So,
That we do.
I started using all of the techniques and principles on my children,
Okay.
on my family, and I watched it work.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you why it could work, but I could tell you that it worked.
Okay.
And then I learned about terms that I had not heard about, and if I did hear about them, I heard about them in terms of psychics, like chakras. I didn't know what a chakra was when I went, what is that? You know, I'm just saying terms that we are never taught about, and I wasn't taught about it in nursing. I wasn't taught about holistic care or any of those sort of things, even in nursing school. That was
Oh,
not the
wow.
philosophy. So it was a different reconditioning for my mind.
I bet it was.
So I was a little nervous, but I still believed God, like, okay, this didn't just come about. Anything created, God created. He created it wonderfully. I'm going to believe it, and I'm going to dive right in. So first I need to do the research.
Okay.
I took the courses. I read the books. I used the techniques. And I started to see the benefit. But anything in medicine, you need research to support.
Yes.
If the research does not support it, it's not real.
That is very true.
So that's kind of how I got started in practicing, because I read a lot of articles. I looked at what do doctors have to say, what do nurses have to say, who does healing touch, and who can do healing touch, and all of those pieces begin to come together with the more classes I began to take, with the more people I began to interact with the more fellowships and friendships I began to learn.
Okay.
More than I could absorb in any class that I had taken.
Well, that goes into my next question. What gave you the confidence to start talking to church folks and not thinking they was going to talk to you and look at you like you got 4 heads, like you doing some kind of witchcraft?
The confidence was my family.
Okay.
Believing in me, and I laid before the Lord many, many nights. I cried about it, and I'm like, Lord, like, if you really designed this for your people, like, why would I be scared?
Okay.
Am I really scared to do what you're calling me to do?
Mm-hmm.
Are you really calling me to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this just something I just made up in my mind?
Okay.
I'm going to need to pray about this. I'm going to need to fast about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to need to tear down my plate. I'm going to need all these things, and I'm going to need you to speak. I remember thinking in the Bible, I can understand why somebody said, okay, you lap up all the water, God, and then I'm going to do something. Well, he did that. Now, now I'm going to need you to do something else, because I need to be sure that you're talking to me.
All right.
And I could understand, because you want to be sure. You don't want to feel like the outcast. You don't want
Yes.
to be shunned. You don't want to be looked as being weird or different.
Absolutely, because we got some holy rollers that would definitely look at you like, this out there.
And I've gotten it already.
All right.
And so with that in mind, I had to be sure that the Lord was talking to me.
All right.
And what is it that I want to continue to do? Do I want to be approved by man, or do I want to please God? And so I want to please God, because healing is offered to us all.
Yes, it is.
Right? Healing is offered to us all. And so since it's offered, then why not learn? Why would I be scared? So then I just started talking.
All right. Got bold. Okay. My next question is, explain to my listening audience what the benefits of healing touch are.
When we talk about healing touch, we talk about healing touch in the premise of that is physical,
Mm-hmm.
emotional, mental, and spiritual. So along any of those lines, you can see a benefit to healing touch, meaning decreases anxiety, decreases your stress level.
Okay.
It can assist and help with pain, promote relaxation, help the body to heal itself. Because in healing touch, you really learn that we are assisting the body to do what it would do all on its own. But sometimes we need a little help.
Yes, we do.
So it was a little different. It was a little different for my mind, because I'm a nurse. That's not how you trained me. You trained me that how much medicine I'm going to give. What kind of medicine? Where did this medicine come from? What's the side effect of this medication? What am I going to do?
Mm-hmm.
All of those pieces came into play. Now you juggling with my foundation, and I'm feeling like maybe this is not the right place to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the more I practiced on my family, the more I knew it was true. I use techniques for pain.
Mm-hmm.
As an example, my sister suffers from migraines,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a healing touch technique for migraines.
Okay.
Use a lot of mind clearing, and I watched her go from unbearable, taking medication that's not working, being out for days and nights, unable to sleep, vomiting,
Oh, wow.
to a few techniques that was able to have her without having a headache,
Wow.
being able to sleep,
Wow.
not being nauseous. And then I'm thinking like, oh, okay. But then someone's going to say, well, that's because that's your family member. You know how people do. Well, they only say that because they're your family, and they
Yes.
want you to think the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to suggest have a migraine and try it out and just see
All right.
what happens, because you won't really know till you experience it for yourself.
Oh,
Once you have an
absolutely.
experience, nobody will be able to tell you anything different.
Absolutely.
See, when I couldn't breathe, you wouldn't be able to tell me that somebody waving their hands around looking like a cuckoo was going to help me breathe better until it happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so the experience is definitely what it's all about. Anybody can benefit from healing touch. It's non-invasive. You don't have to get stuck. You don't have to get picked. You don't have to get prodded. Can be done on a massage table. It can
Okay.
be done in a chair. It can be done anywhere.
Oh, wow.
You can have anywhere from 5 minutes to an hour and still receive a benefit. Babies. I'm talking infants.
Okay.
Up to older people, and because we're now in the age of integrative medicine,
Okay.
it's even used in more areas and circles of when it comes to death and dying.
Oh, wow.
A lot of energy medicine is done in death and dying
Okay.
and around hospice care.
Okay.
Mhm.
I guess my next question would be, what do experts say about healing touch?
That's really funny, because as a nurse, you have to be a researcher, you have to be an educator, you have to be the pharmacist, you have to be all of those things. So I had to go back to research. And early on, when healing touch kind of began, like in its infancy around in the 80s, and you talked about energy,
Mm-hmm.
science didn't support that it was anything to do with energy
Okay.
at all. Anything outside your physical body that you couldn't see did not support it. Now the researchers say that there is an energy field
Okay.
and that you can benefit from your energy field being worked on, but they don't know exactly what that something is. They know it's something,
Mm-hmm.
but they don't know what the something is. I love research.
Okay. Okay. How does energy healing work?
So energy healing, there are 7 layers in the energy healing body.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to get too technical because then you kind of bring people into a whole different arena.
Okay.
But there are different levels.
Okay.
And when you take the energy level that's closest to the body, which that term is called the etheric layer,
Okay.
and it's your body double, the energy level that is exactly like your physical body.
Okay.
And then there are layers that go out from your emotional layer, and then you go out. And when you're in an energy layer, what healing touch does is breaks up congestion in the energy layers.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then it brings back into balance and align your energy fields, which promotes the body to do self-healing.
Okay. Okay. What can a person expect from a healing touch treatment? Because you said it could be like 5 minutes to an hour, right?
Mhm.
So what would that session look like?
So every healing touch session is different.
Okay.
Healing touch practitioners are a part of the integrative team.
Okay.
So if you came to a healing touch practitioner, they would take you on an interview like you when you went into your doctor's office. We want to know what kind of health ailments do you have? What kind of medications are you taking? What symptom brought you to a healing touch practitioner?
Okay.
What are you hoping to gain?
Okay.
And then we work from whether it's physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual. And then that's how you do the work.
Okay.
You can expect to definitely be more relaxed,
Okay.
decrease in pain, promote harmony and balance, decrease anxiety,
Oh, wow.
decrease level of stress. What I've learned in Healing Touch is the mind loves to chatter,
Mm.
and it never wants to be quiet. And so when
Wait a
you,
minute. Say that line again. Say that line
the
one more time.
mind loves to chatter, and it never wants to be quiet.
Ah.
We have to learn how to get in a quiet place
Yes.
and be still.
Yes.
And Healing Touch can put you in tune to the center of your core,
Yes.
that basic breathing, which is a melody all of its own,
Mm-hmm.
and your heart, which is a melody all its own. But I promise you, when you first start,
Mm-hmm.
the mind does not want to quiet. So as soon as you sit down, you're going to think about the 10,000 things that you could be doing.
Well, that's sort of like, some people when you do yoga, right? You got to get your mind to think and be quiet and go to that place. And, I know some people believe yoga is witchcraft too.
So that's funny because I've heard that too. Yoga is not a religion. just for information. It's not.
Okay.
But it really does speak to harmony and balance,
Okay.
which as a people in today's society, we take for granted.
Okay.
Because we're taught to multitask. And I promise you, as a nurse, I'm taught to think of 10,000 things at one time.
Okay.
So when a patient comes in, my goal is to know how you're going to get home as soon as you walk in the door.
All right.
And how to multitask everything that needs to get done
Mm-hmm.
and get you out of here. Now, if we multitask on an everyday basis,
Mm-hmm.
why would the mind ever want to quiet? Why would you ever? Because you're always doing it.
Yes.
But the more chatter you get, the more anxiety you can get.
I believe that. I definitely believe that.
The more stress we allow the body to take
Yes.
on. And it's hard to sit still 5 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes, and take it. And I'm going to just use my own church family as an example.
Okay.
I set the atmosphere.
All right.
I used aromatherapy.
All right.
I turned the lights down low.
Okay.
I played meditation music.
Okay.
And when they came in, the witch had to be out. Because that's not something that you used to experiencing at church.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Why would you get quiet? Why would you be still?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing I said that the Lord said to his disciples, get ye to the other side
All right.
and rest. But we don't rest.
Mm-hmm.
We always talking about working in ministry. Yes, work effectively in ministry.
Yes.
But what happens to rest? What happens to your prayer time? Because then you still can't pray because your mind is still chattering.
Yes.
So you do have to learn how to sit still,
All right.
get focused,
Mm-hmm.
and pray in a spot where there's nothing else going on. That's not easy. And if people tell you they can sit and pray for hours and hours and not get distracted, they lie. That's not easy. You learn to do that.
Yeah.
It's not something that you just wake up and do and I can pray a whole 25 hours and it's good. No, because after 5 minutes they run out.
You're right, but you do have some holy rollers that will say they can and have always done it and been able to do it. You've already touched on it already, but so I guess what I would like you to do is size up in maybe like 2 sentences.
Mm-hmm.
Why should a person consent to using healing touch as a natural alternative?
First of all, because healing touch is in medicine, you need consent. You want to say, yes, I want to have this done to me.
Okay.
But I want to say it again, we're a part of a team. It's not just saying that you're going to go to a healing touch person and they're going to cure your blood pressure. No,
Okay.
as a part of the team, we're going to help to assist the body to come into a natural state of balance so that you can learn to deal with your blood pressure. That also means eating better, exercising, getting quiet. Alternative just says that there is something else in addition to what I'm already doing. If you go to a healing touch practitioner, the first question that they're going to know is, do you have a primary care physician?
All right.
And anytime we're dealing with energy medicine and there's something that you may need to be referred for, you'll get referred.
All right.
If your blood pressure is high, and we're dealing with that right now, but you're going to need to see somebody about that.
All right.
I don't want anyone to think that I'm trying to replace your primary care.
Okay.
I'm not trying to take you off your medication.
Okay.
I'm trying to help you learn how to treat this one body that you're only going to get.
I know that's right. Okay. We only get one body.
You only
We'll
going to get one.
Yes. How can healing touch help with congestion, backache, and stress?
So when we talk about healing touch, it deals with the congestion in your energy fields.
Okay.
So what healing touch does is break up the congestion that's in the energy layers. And I would like to suggest that before it becomes physical, it's already in your energy bodies.
Okay.
It's already there.
All right.
And then by the time we go off balance for so long, then it begins to manifest. Stress will manifest itself physically if you don't do something about it.
Absolutely, it will.
Right? Stress can lead from anything from anxiety to physical pain,
Okay.
even to depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to just remind us that stress can even lead you to a heart attack.
It certainly can.
So when you think about that something that is mental and emotional can lead to something physical, we might want to deal with that up front rather on the back end. Now, when we talk about helping with that, it's helping to center
All right.
the body. It helps to re-energize the body. It helps the body because the body will heal in time. We want to promote healing to decrease all of these extraneous things that are happening to the body
All right.
to promote healing. A benefit of Healing Touch, in my personal, professional opinion.
Okay. Okay. My next one is a two-part question,
Mm-hmm.
which is explain what are essential oils and name some of them for us.
Essential oils are kind of now my passion, which is considered another form of alternative medicine, actually.
Okay.
Essential oils have to do with the plants and how the oils are extracted from the plants.
Okay.
Um,
What is that alternative medicine called? Because you said it's considered.
integrative care. So all alternative medicine falls under integrative care,
Okay.
which is that funny term, which is a global term. You have
Okay.
a global term that encapsulates a lot of different sort of therapies that we use.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about essential oils, those are plants and how they are extracted.
Mm.
And then if you think about plants used even in biblical times, they were used for medicinal purposes.
All right.
They were used for perfumes. They were used for embalming.
Mm-hmm.
They were used for anything you could think of naturally, an oil was used for
All right.
in biblical times. Now, how I started to study oils was we read all the time about frankincense and myrrh
Mm-hmm.
and spikenard. And you might not have known the name spikenard, but it does talk about the oil that the woman used on Jesus' feet
Mm-hmm.
to anoint him with her hair. And you want to kind of know, like, gee, where did they go? I'm like, what happened to some of these oils? And if they were used back then, what are we doing now?
All right.
So, like frankincense, myrrh,
Mm-hmm.
sandalwood. Sandalwood is also considered an aloe, but sandalwood nonetheless. Hyssop oil, which is one of my favorites.
Okay.
And we talk about hyssop because absolutely in Psalms 51, David talks about hyssop, you
Okay.
know. But do we really understand what he was talking about when it talks about hyssop oil? Just to kind of name a few oils, galbanum.
Okay.
In the Bible, you hear about resins.
Mm-hmm.
When it talks about a resin, it really is talking about frankincense. But you won't know that until you do the study because you're thinking about it's talking about something different.
Study and sell yourself approved.
Right. When you talk about cedar,
Okay.
talking about cedar wood, which is the oil.
All right.
Right. So the more you study, the more you learn that the Bible tells you about the oils. We just don't know how to interpret it.
Okay. Well, how do essential oils benefit people?
So essential oils benefit from two different areas.
Okay.
We hear a lot about aromatherapy.
Mm-hmm.
And when most people think about aromatherapy, they think about that Glade plug-in. And they think about making a house smell nice,
Yes.
it's all lovely. But as I began to do the research about essential oils and aromatherapy, I went back to the original purpose of oils,
All right.
medicinal purposes. But medicinal meaning that back in the Bible days, they used these oils for all sorts of ailments. And I always like to talk about leprosy. It was a big deal back then.
Yes, it was.
And just for information, myrrh cured leprosy.
Oh, wow.
Because leprosy is a skin condition, much like we would consider eczema today.
Okay.
And myrrh helps with eczema
Oh.
and lots of skin conditions. And that was a historical use, even though it's still able to do that today.
Oh, wow.
And so it is amazing at what you learn when you know it's out there to find.
Mm-hmm.
So if these plants helped all these years ago, what happened to them? Where did they go? Did they just disappear off the face of the earth? What happened? Why don't we talk about it anymore? I remember as a young girl, my grandmother had a remedy for everything.
Yes. Yes.
There was a remedy for everything.
Yes.
You did not always need to go down to the pharmacy to get something. But there was a remedy
Yes.
for everything. And in learning about oils, I wonder, how did we get away from remedies? How did that happen? Then as a nurse, I learned, oh, we're going to give some medicine because I want to feel better today.
Yes.
Whereas if I use the oil, I may feel better, but I might not feel better today.
It's going to take a minute.
It's going to take a little bit.
Yes. And we want microwave.
And I need it now.
Yes. We want a microwave.
Now, I want it now, no matter what the side effect may be, I just want it now.
Mm-hmm.
And most essential oils don't have the side effects that we experience from medications today.
Mm-hmm.
Which was odd to me because I'm like, well, gee, well then why we don't use them for everything? Like, is it what? I don't know. I'm gonna have to study a little bit more. So now the nurse in me has a conflict with the person that says, these oils are real. These medications are real.
Okay, well, real quick, you're listening to Making Waves with Pastor Mia. Our sponsors for tonight are Nelson's Auto and the Home Store. And I want to, you've already mentioned some oils in the Bible, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Tell us about how Moses used oils in the Bible.
So it's funny that you talk about that because when I first learned about Moses and I learned about the oils that he used, Moses in Exodus used 4 particular oils.
Okay.
He used myrrh, cinnamon, cassia, and calamus.
Mm-hmm.
Cinnamon and cassia are in the same family.
Okay.
And the Lord gave him that group of oils to put together when the children of Israel was leaving the Exodus, when they were leaving Egypt. And I had to go back and read and try to figure out, well, why this particular blend of oils? So then I went back to find out that myrrh is an antibiotic.
Oh, wow.
It's also an anti-infective. It's anti-parasitic.
Wow.
It's antiviral. So is cinnamon. Cinnamon also helps with GI distress because now they're in the wilderness.
Oh, wow.
And if we talk about cassia and calamus, like you begin to see the overlap
Okay.
of antivirals, soothing, calming, and then, oh, hey, Lord, why would you put all these together? Well, if we think about it, in the Bible, when Moses made this oil that the Lord had told him, it says that they spent all this time and their shoes never wore out. They never got sick. Gee, it has to be something in the oil, in the makeup of the oil, that would keep the people healthy
Mm-hmm.
and from being ill in the oil, because God knows better than we do.
Wonderful. I have one question about black seed oil.
Okay.
What is black seed oil, and are there any truths to the rumors floating around on social media that it cures everything but death?
So when we think about black seed oil, it does come from our plants.
Okay.
And research would suggest that it does have a lot of medicinal purposes.
Okay.
Now, when we say cure, we always think of it's gone, never to return again.
All right.
But when I think about black seed oil, it assists the body with respiratory, immune support, fighting cancer. And the research does suggest that. It can help. It is a benefit. Now, what we don't know, because we don't have the research to support it, is how much good it really can do. And until we do the research, of course, the medical world won't give the full 100% okay. Now, but what you will find is that all oils have a purpose and help the body in some way.
Okay.
But the body will know from the oil what it needs, whereas we don't, because there are so many constituents or parts and particles that make up an oil that we will never fully understand all that it does in the body.
Okay. All right. How can people contact you about utilizing your services?
Oh, I didn't even know it was a service. I just thought it was me researching and learning and sharing. But if you wanted to contact me, you could contact me at aqujen@yahoo.com, which is my email address. And I will respond immediately. I love to answer questions. I love to help someone else have that light came on feeling like I do. Even with the just general learning, not that you wanted to help somebody else, but just for your own personal benefit of how to help balance your own body.
All right.
I'm always available, better by email, 900% of the time. I usually respond within 24 hours
All right.
to any questions that I'm asked. Kind of come out to do talks, introducing biblical oils to biblical people.
All right.
Those kind of events I do hold. But first we have to start at home. So if we don't teach ourselves and our family, how can you give it to somebody else? Because you want someone else to spread it.
Absolutely. Give our listeners your email again.
My email address is aqujen@yahoo.com.
And my last question, because this has been a wonderful show about the secret about ancient oils. Do you have any upcoming conferences or workshops?
I'm going to do May the 30th, 2015 at the Empowering Word Kingdom Ministries International from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. I'm going to do Healing Touch that day. And I invite the listeners to come out and learn all about Healing Touch.
Wonderful.
I'll have out my table, I'll have out the atmosphere, I'll be able to do treatments, and it's all free.
Let me say that word again.
And it's all free.
Free, free, free. Give us the date again.
May the 30th, which is a Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Empowering Word Kingdom Ministries International in Baltimore, Maryland, 1329 Baltimore Street, Baltimore, Maryland, 21223.
And just for our listeners who weren't paying attention, but when you said free and started talking about doing Healing Touch at church, please give them your email again.
My email address is aqujen@yahoo.com.
Wonderful. So thank you. It has been an absolute pleasure. I've learned so much that I did not know. It has just been an absolute pleasure. I thank you, Elder Jenkins, for coming on my show this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I thank you for giving me the opportunity to spread the word, to let everyone know that really there is alternative medicine out there. We only get one body, and we want to treat it holistically, mind, body, and spirit.
All right.